Hello and welcome back to another GoBrunch talk show where we take a look behind the scenes and in the workrooms and the rooms and the exciting worlds of GoBrunchers. Today, I'm very excited. I'm joined by Belinda Weaver. Belinda, welcome. Welcome to GoBrunch. Welcome to, how long have you been using GoBrunch?
I'm pretty new to the GoBrunch family.
Nice.
I would say maybe 6 months or so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You're brand new. Well,
Yeah.
welcome. We love it. We love meeting new GoBrunchers. Why don't you give us a little bit of an introduction of you and your business and what you're using GoBrunch for?
Yeah. So my name is Belinda Weaver. I am a copywriter turned copy coach. So I help copywriters create businesses that they love to work in while also helping improve their technical writing craft, their financial stability, and just their general fulfillment for what they do. And I have a writing program, I have a coaching membership, and I have a mastermind. And I actually use the GoBrunch space in two of those products that I have. So I use it in my writing program as a space because the writing program has assignments. So I use it as a space where students in the writing program can kind of do their work and be around other copywriters also doing the same assignments. But the biggest way I use it is actually in my Confident Copywriting membership, and I use it as a co-working space. And it's really popular because I have my members are really divided. Like, I'm Australian, I live in the US, and I also have a strong UK group of members. So evenly split between the US, the Southern Hemisphere, and the UK. And the co-working space in GoBrunch lets members in different time zones get together and body double. And so it's really good for community building and it's really good for getting stuff done. And it means I don't have to run all the sessions. So it's time zone independent.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things for me, same thing, we've got members all around the world, but because it's 24/7, like the biggest thing is people trying to run co-writing or co-working sessions in Zoom, you got to go start up that Zoom and then you got to be there when people are there. Whereas with GoBrunch, you can have those rooms open 24/7 and they get all the access they want and you don't necessarily have to be there or start the room for them.
Yeah. And it was actually a challenge that I was trying to think about how I would overcome. I was like, I want to create these co-working sessions. And I was creating them, but as you said, that would depend on me opening the Zoom room up.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking maybe I could get some members to do it and maybe I could do it this way. And I was trying to kind of over engineer all these solutions. And that's when I found GoBrunch.
Yeah. And you're like, wait, now people can come in and use these rooms whenever they want. They can set up little co-working sessions with each other on their own. It's an interesting exercise for some business owners who really love control to be able to say, oh, people are in my rooms without me. But I will say personally, I love it. And I love like bouncing into a room and seeing like 12 people in there that in a time when I didn't organize anything. So it's really satisfying for me to see people using those spaces.
Yeah, I really love coming in and actually seeing, because I often just have a little nosy at the chat that's been going on and seeing that a couple of members from the UK jumped on and then a couple of Aussies were jumping on. And it was just completely different times than works for my schedule. And so I love seeing them use the space.
I love that too. Okay, well, why don't you hop in and let's see some of these rooms and we'll kind of go through what you've built, show it off.
Yeah, so let's get it shared first.
And I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger here.
There we go. So this is my membership, as you can see, Confident Copywriting. And I actually created a few different spaces for members. And so I was coming up with kind of what kind of vibe and mood that I want. So I've got 3 completely different spaces. I'd like to bring some cohesion to it. But what I love about this is I'm just having a play with it for now. I'm just kind of seeing what works for people.
Yeah.
So this is our kind of main intro space. And I wanted to create something like a lot of writers and a lot of freelancers work in cafes.
Oh,
so
yeah.
a cafe vibe felt very aligned. And, I love the fact that we can kind of move around and do all this kind of stuff. But I have the Pomodoro timer. So the Pomodoro system of time management, I don't know if you know it.
I do.
People
use it a lot.
know it.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. It's a great way to get stuff done. So I put the Pomodoro timer in there. And I know a lot of people come in, they set the timer, and then they go and have their couple of minutes break. So this is often where we mostly hang out. But I also created let's make sure it's going to work, what I called a discussion lounge.
Okay.
And this is a different space where this is where I encourage members to come and chat about things. So if people are busy working and they're like, actually, can we have a chat about that?
Yep.
The idea was to create this space where they could go and they could share their screen and they could actually brainstorm and workshop together and stuff like that without necessarily interrupting the
Mhm.
workflow of the other space. And then because I'm a big focus, I like music to focus with. So in
Mhm.
this space, I put the deep focus playlist from Spotify
Nice.
and I put the Pomodoro timer. And this was one where I was like, this is my ultimate workspace where I'm close to nature and it's got lots of cool lighting, but this ticks a lot of boxes as well. So people can dial into the music. And so people get to choose whichever space they think will support them best.
Okay. Can we go back to the first one? I want to talk a little bit about what you've done there.
Yeah. Back to the coffee shop.
Yeah, nice. Okay, so when you've got like a membership area or something like that, like how do people find this Go Brunch room? How do you direct people here?
So I have something in the membership dashboard,
Uh-huh.
like a button they can click and it takes them here. I have a pinned post in the community space, which is Facebook,
Uh-huh.
basically saying this is the link and this is the code. And I've also built up a habit that whenever anyone's coming in here, that they post in the Facebook group and go, "Hey, I'm just going over to the co-working space if anyone's around." Because it's relatively
Yeah.
new, kind of reminding people that the space is there.
Yeah,
And
that's
I do
great.
that myself, and that kind of reminds people to do it. So I'm like, "Hey, I'm going into the co-working space if anyone wants a body double," and I'll often see a few little heads pop up after that.
I
Yeah.
love that. And then this Pomodoro clock, was this an embed? Did you find this somewhere? Did you make it? Like where did you get this?
Oh, this is an embed, and I actually got this idea from, Richard because when I got GoBrunch, he offered a call to kind of walk me through it, which was
Nice.
just so useful because he actually showed me what other people were doing with the spaces. So I got to see lobbies and I got to see meeting rooms and I got
Yeah.
to see
You probably
a
got to see
lot
my
of
rooms.
potential. Yeah, it was really exciting. So he actually kind of guided me through how to add the embed timer.
Nice.
I mean, one of the challenges is finding one that fits the zone that doesn't come up with lots of pop-ups or ads or something like that. But I think I Googled how to add the Spotify playlist
Nice.
as well. So it's kind of easy to add those embedded elements in.
Yeah, and the great thing about this, and if people have watched the talk show before, the great thing about this is this embed is always per the person who's in the room. So if I'm in the room with you, I can click the Pomodoro clock and it counts down the 25 minutes. You might have come in 5 minutes before me, and hit the Pomodoro clock. It's gonna be you. So not everybody in the room has to go on the same time, which is really nice
Yeah.
for people who are coming and going, or maybe they want the Pomodoro, they don't want the Pomodoro. If you are looking at creating a space where everybody's on the same Pomodoro, you can come in there as the facilitator and share a screen and then have the countdown, and then everybody in the room gets it. But I personally love when we have the embed. Again, we were just talking about people coming and going into your space. If they're
Mhm.
popping in through Facebook and saying, I'm in there, who wants to come do a body doubling with me? They get to choose their Pomodoro style. So I love that you've included that for people just to hit that really easily.
Yeah. And it's the same with the music as well. They can just control their own music, but of course they can also just put their own headphones on. It
Mhm.
was just I just wanted to create spaces where we had different places to get different things that you need, knowing
Yeah.
that not everyone likes working in a cafe. Some people like the forest vibe. And so I
Yeah.
just wanted to create different containers for people to get their work done.
Yeah, we have a cafe in our space, and I actually have embedded it has a we use the on-demand Pomodoro, but it has a 25-minute cafe noise that people can play, and so a lot of people like to listen to that, and it just has, like, the kind of the bustle of, like, coffee being made and people talking.
Tinkling of
Yeah,
teaspoons.
we had to make a small change to it at one point because I didn't realize there was this loud lady who was, like, basically yelling for a baguette halfway through, and everyone said it was very jarring. All of a sudden, she's like, "Baguette, baguette!" So, I had to go and, like, edit that a little bit, but people love it. People love just going in there and sitting in that cafe, and it's the same thing like you said, if you're a writer, you're kinda used to going and working in the cafe, but sometimes you don't wanna go work in a cafe and pay your $12 for a coffee, so this way you get to come in. I really like that you have made it an intentional decision to have a discussion lounge separate and that you've used the arrows here. And I believe you've also used the text feature in to label these. And so that's a separate, we've highlighted these arrows before, but the text actually is something that you can add into GoBrunch. And so you've labeled it so that it's easy. if people hover over the arrow, they're going to see, where they're going to, but having that extra text over it is just really great to give people an idea that they should be going to that arrow. That intentional decision to have the discussion lounge separate is really lovely. And I like that people can just go, hey, do you want to meet me in the discussion lounge? Do you have those also in your all rooms? If you click the all room space on your menu, are they in this collection of, oh, yep,
Yes.
you are. Yeah, so this is a great example you've used, and you have the pictures as the thumbnail so that people can kind of
Yes.
see the vibe before they jump into that room. But it's a great way that people can use either the arrows as directional, or they can use the all rooms and they can hop in there and then go and meet with people.
Another thing I played with in the different spaces was how the coloring of the circles, initially I made them very light rather than a little bit darker,
Yeah.
but meant you didn't get a sense of kind of who else could be in the room. And
Mhm.
it's just such a small thing, but I did play a little bit with the color of them and the shading of them, just so we had a sense of where the seats were. And so where you could sit, very much like you go into a room and you think, "Ooh, where do I wanna sit?" And it's
Mhm.
funny with some of the people who are regulars in this room, we all kind of have our favorite spots
Yep.
where we sit.
I've seen that before. Yeah. Yeah, it's
So I
interesting.
like that customization.
I like that you brought that up, because I know I have a room that's like it's a forest, but it's an automatic seat, and everybody goes and has a seat on the log. Like, there's only seats on the log, so I can make it invisible, and it doesn't take away. But recently I was looking and saying, okay, actually I need to have these seats to be a little bit shaded, because like you said, it gives people an idea of where they can actually go and sit. And also, like, you've got here 2 seats at a table. One table you only have 1 seat. So it's really interesting when people come into these rooms, we think, oh, it's just a room, or the things that people will think of in their mind when they come into rooms like this, where we have what we call like a seating, like a set seating or a visual cue of seating. I once created a room that had separate tables. So for years, people were around one big table in our main workroom. And then I created a second workroom that had separate tables, and everybody had anxiety, because if somebody was in the room at a table, they weren't sure if they should go sit at the table with the person, or maybe they wanted to sit, like you said, you have favorite chairs. So maybe the one person wanted to sit at a different table, but they didn't want to offend the other person in the room. So we ended up deleting that room. It became so stressful for people. And so we were like, yeah, we don't need to make people be stressed about that, right? So it's kind of interesting when you think about some of these designs in here, you think, oh, this is just a room. No, it's not. People, it matters. And like you said, people pick which one's your favorite seat? Is it the one that you're in, or
Where I am, where I am, I like to sit at
you're
the
at the bar?
counter
Yeah.
thing, and so I can tell, like, Geraldine likes to sit here, Sarah likes to sit here,
Mhm.
Anne likes to sit here, we have our own little spot, and it's kind of nice I like curating the experience in that way, where I'm
Mhm.
not just popping people anywhere and it doesn't matter. I really loved all the customizations to be able to go, how can I make this feel seamless? And that moment is without bumps, those jarring moments where you're like, oh, I really enjoyed playing with it.
Especially when, so are the people in your community, are they fiction writers, nonfiction? Like, what are they creating?
Oh, they're copywriters. So
Copy.
they are writing copy for clients. And
Mhm.
so they're coming in to go, I'm writing a series of blogs and I've just got to get it done. Or like I'm a bit restless at home and
Mhm.
I need to kind of get on with some things. And so being around people, it's that whole body doubling effect. I know
Absolutely.
quite a few copywriters in my group, they've got ADHD and things like that they're trying to work around and work with. And
Mhm.
so I know the power of the body doubling effect.
Do you find people work with their cameras on or off? Do you find some people need it a different way?
Well, it's a bit of a mix. I put mine on because I consider myself the host of the space. So when
Mhm.
new people come in, I do take a minute to go, oh, hi, in the chat, like, hey, what are you working on?
Mhm.
Stuff like that. And so I make myself visual, but it's very much you choose how you need to show up. Don't feel like, because
Yeah.
the last thing you want to do is turn up to a space where you feel like you need to be camera ready and you're like,
Right.
I just want to do the work. And
Yeah.
so we have members who are like, I don't even have a good camera. That's fine. And some members who it works for. So it's very much a choose your own working style.
Yeah, I do find that the circle cam it's like less invasive. There's
Yes.
something about like the big camera where everybody can see all of my messy behind me in my office, whereas just right behind my head just gives like a nice little view, right? But I also I like to not always have my camera on. So I like that it gives me that flexibility. I was curious because I would say generally in our community, we keep the cameras off unless we want to have like a connection with somebody. But I do know that sometimes people need the body doubling, like the actual visual movement of people. So it
Mm.
gives flexibility. So I was just curious in your community what people were leaning towards.
Yeah. So leaning towards camera on, but there's no, I don't want to put too many constraints on
Yeah.
what this space needs to be.
Yeah, I like that. That's interesting. Okay, let's go back to the discussion lounge because there's a few things I want to.
So this is a room that I created the imagery for that it feels very different because I was like, this is the kind of space I want to sit in when I'm having a chat with someone. But I am looking at making the spaces feel like different rooms of the same house.
Right.
But I just wanted a cozy, luxurious library feel
Yeah.
to this.
Yeah, I think it's important. So I also like, okay, so one of the things, and I don't know if this is intentional, but I'm just going to point out some things that I do like about this from a design perspective. You said that people might come in here and share their screen. You've left a blank space in this top left kind of. And so I think that's really important if you're going to share writing. There's a space where you can still see the person on the camera and you've got those seats below. And then we can share a screen and work on it up there. So those are things to think about. If you're watching this and you're like, what should I design my room? If I know that someone's going to share a screen or I'm going to share a screen a lot, my workshop rooms all have this kind of blank space so that I'm not covering somebody's avatar or their face. I want to be able to see them if we're having that conversation. So you've done that here. And I think that's really great because you could have put extra seats in the seats behind here, but you didn't. You kept them all up front here and you've
Yeah.
given space. Was that intentional or
Yeah, it was actually. I also made this is all chairs. There's no tables. So this is less of a I'm putting my laptop
right?
down and I'm working. More it's we're sitting back in a chair and we're talking.
Yeah, I love that. So that's intentional design. I think it's really important. I think it's really interesting as people play with these spaces. When you definitely, as you see, so you've been doing this for 6 months. I'm curious to see the future rooms that you make, because now you'll see how your members are interacting and interacting with these spaces, your future rooms that you've kind of said. And we'll get to that in a bit because I will ask you at the end kind of what you're making next in GoBrunch. But I think it'll be really interesting to see. And then you've got 2, 5, 7 seats in here, which is interesting too. You might find in the future you just want to do a 2-person room because then nobody can hop into that private discussion. And it'll be interesting to see as your members get more used to the space what they ask for.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're having a conversation and you don't want somebody to pop in. Not that you don't want them to hear, but it can be kind of jarring to all of a sudden have a third person in your space.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just again, it's thinking like what would this look like in real life?
Right. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
door is open, anyone can pop in, and if you're okay with that, then it's totally cool. But as you said, it's actually one of the things I have on my list is to play with some of those more private spaces.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely they're used quite a bit in our community. People are always like, "Hey, do you want to go sit into 2 cozy or 3 cozy or, those kind of things." And it's interesting to see. And it's just so that it isn't that they want to keep something private from everyone else. It's just so that you set that space and you set that no one else is going to all of a sudden pop in and you have to start from the beginning. It's just gives you that ability to do that. So I like that. I like that you've created this. Do you do anything else in here? Or is this just for people to come in and discuss?
Yeah, it's just an opportunity, a space where people can go, "Hey, I would love to just have a quick conversation about this." Because
Mhm.
often in the chat feature of the coffee shop, people are like, "Oh, I'm writing this blog and I'm kind of struggling with this," and a discussion will ensue in the chat. But sometimes it's nice to go, "Hey, do you want to just have a quick actual chat
Yeah.
about this? Let's
Mhm.
pop into the discussion room." So that was my idea when I created this space. But I do know that the coffee shop is the most popular one. But I
Mhm.
wanted to make sure that I wasn't the one going, "Shh, no talking, no
Right.
talking."
Right. But you want to still respect that. Some people just need that quiet. Let's go into the focus music room.
This is my favorite one.
Yeah, I like the forest within and the forest without. Yeah, we've
And
got
what may or may not be a bar.
I mean, it's something.
It
It's
could left it ambiguous.
yeah, or it's like I kind of think of like okay, this is going to sound really random, but one time we were in Prague and I was in a course and I needed to get some coursework done and my husband wanted to get some work done. And so we could have gone out visiting Prague, but our hotel had this like executive lounge and they had bumped us up as an upgrade in there anyways. And so there's like food and drink and coffee. And we actually end up and a huge window. Actually, it's very much like this room, to be honest with you, only instead of the forest, we were looking out on the streets of Prague. And we sat there probably for like 6 hours working and drinking and eating, and it was very much like this bar, like, where you could just kinda sit and go get, like, a coffee. A lady came in and was like, "I've got 3 bottles of wine. Would you like to try some?" We were like, "Oh, I guess if we have to." So it was but it was, like, very much like this, like, just like the couch, little tiny table, like, a little bit of a bar. So you've actually captured, like, that memory for me where we just sat there and did some work, and some people were like, "You spent that in Prague?" I'm like, "It was actually one of our favorite." We look back at that, like, 12 years later, and we're like, "That was such a good day because it was just there was no like, we got to watch all the people outside, we didn't have to go anywhere, and we just got
Yeah.
to eat and drink, and everything was kind of served to our
Yeah, I totally get it, and that was
Yeah.
part of my vibe for this, like, where would I just love to sit for a
Yeah.
long period of time with some focused music on? And I'm not a work on the couch kind of person, but I felt the tables. I actually tried it with tables. I did a design with tables, and I'm
Mhm.
like, "No, this needs to be a little bit more relaxed."
Yeah, no, I like it, and there's, like, a hint of, like, is that a real tree on the wall behind you? We don't know. Is it just a picture? Is it art? Hard to say. It
Yeah.
could be alive. It's all up to you. So, yeah, no, I like this room. This is really like I said, you just totally take me back. And so what do people do in here just if they want a little bit of a quiet, the deep focus, or just chilling out?
Yeah, it's more like I mean, you could easily sit in the coffee shop with your own earphones on and your own music, which is actually what I often do. But this is the one I just wanted to create this space for people who are like, I don't because I'm not a worker in a coffee shop. I don't like all that hubbub. This is for people who are like, I need a calm space
Mhm.
where I can do my thing. And I usually listen to music. But obviously they don't have to, but this is a
Mhm.
productivity space, but it's just less hectic than the idea of sitting in a coffee shop. And it's kind of funny because we're talking about an image of a coffee shop. We are
Yes.
not in a coffee shop,
No.
but those subtle clues to our subconscious are really important.
It's really true, and even, like, the thought of, like, sitting on a chair, sitting there's something about sitting at a table, and I'm gonna start writing, and even though I might be in a different screen, my brain is still in this room, so wherever I've put my avatar, even though if I can't see it, I'm still in the room with the trees around me, or I'm still in the
Yeah.
coffee shop. It's really fascinating how this kinda works and how, like, the cues and the instructions we gave our brain when we sat in here. I know a lot of people will tell me that they get so much more done sticking their little avatar into this, like, random, room, but it depends on the room, right? And
Yeah.
everybody seems to have I have, like, a bazillion rooms, so but, like, it's really interesting seeing the rooms that people identify with or that they pick. So, like you said, this is your favorite room, right? And so
Mhm.
you love being in here. There's things about this that you have that get you into that zone.
Yeah, absolutely. And, so I'm going to play with some of the imagery. But for now, like for the last couple of months, I've just been wanting to get people to use the space.
Yeah, I love it, and I love how you have incorporated the Facebook group, so, I'm just heading over into that room. Do you have set times and kind of a schedule for people to come in, or are you doing everything just kind of very organic?
It's very organic at the moment, and because I do want people to keep remembering that it is. So whenever I have like a no call zone in my calendar, I'm
Mhm.
building up my own habit to go into the co-working space because it's also building up those triggers for my brain to go, when you go into this space, you're going to get work done.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then post in the Facebook group saying, "Hey, I'm just going over to the co-working space." And sometimes I'll pop back into the Facebook group and go, "Oh, reel off some names. We're all over here. So if you're around, come and join us."
Mhm. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, it's interesting when I first started I've been with GoBrunch for 4 years, but when we first started, somebody had said to me, "Well, when I pop in the room, no one's there." And so I leave again. I'm like, "If you wait 10 minutes, someone else is gonna pop into that room."
Yeah, absolutely. And if you let the community know that you're in that room as
Mm.
well, that can be
Yeah.
just another trigger.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, do you have any other rooms that you wanna show us today?
So this
Yeah.
is my workspace for my writing program, which is called the Copywriting Incubator. And that's a 12-week program and it has assignments. And
Nice.
so I thought when I got Go Brunch, why don't I create a similar kind of co-working space
Yeah.
for inkies, as I call them, to
Nice.
just have a space where they're popping in and they can do their assignments together. And I this one hasn't been as used as well as the confident copywriting space because it's smaller, it runs in cohorts and things like
Mhm.
that. And I only run one cohort since having GoBrunch. So this is a kind of untested, but I'm playing with the idea of just creating different spaces for my different products that are branded. So this one has orange dots and the logo there and stuff like that. But I wanted this to be a much smaller space that people were working in.
Yeah. Did you make this room or was this one of the GoBrunch?
This might have been one of the GoBrunch,
I was like,
actually.
wow, that's really match. I feel like it looks like one, but I'm like, wow, this really matches your branding.
Yes.
So well done. I like when that happens.
Yeah, so that's why I made the dots orange rather than
Yeah.
a kind of black shade and stuff like that, because I
Yeah.
did want it to fit the logo, but it didn't need to be a cavernous space.
Right. Yes. Yes. And that's important too. So that gives a nice cohort feel. It feels like we're all in this little room together and we're doing it. And you have 5 spots.
Yes, and the cohorts are actually, up to 25 people, but the first time I was doing it, I was like, "I'm not gonna get all 25 in there at
Right.
the same
And if
time."
you put all 25, it just feels too big. And then people are like, hello. Yeah.
Oh, yes, and, they're in different time zones, so not all of the 25 are in the same time zone, and not
Mhm.
all of them have the same schedules. So I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna go with a lower number of seats, and I'll just
Mhm.
see how it works out."
Yeah, I remember a few years ago somebody asked like, like what if it looks too empty? And I was like, well, I build rooms that I can expand out if I'm going to do a workshop and I can quickly just adjust the length and then add more seats. I said, but don't worry about that. But, as we've done these, the intimate spaces are amazing. We have some tiny salons where there's only like 5 or 8 seats and it
Mhm,
feels good. Like it's just interesting how having this kind of defined space really does change the way it just feels to share or be intimate or be, completely vulnerable in a space. Whereas if I'm in 20, 25, 40 seats in a auditorium, I don't feel
mm.
like sharing that.
Yeah, exactly, and, with the coffee shop for my membership, we want to kinda come in and grab a seat and not necessarily have to chat with anyone.
Mhm.
That's a different space, and so I've said it a few times, but you can hear that I'm trying to walk the moment, or when I like to be in spaces, what I'm trying to achieve, how much
Mhm.
interaction I want, and how much freedom I want to choose how much interaction I want.
I love that. I love this intentional space building. It gets me excited. This is what I love to see in a Go Brunch. Is there any other rooms that you wanted to show us today?
No, I think that's all
Okay.
my rooms. That's all my spaces. I just had a lot of fun creating the different rooms. And, once I had the dimensions for the imagery, I used AI to generate the images. And that's always fun and wacky. But it was nice to be able to go, this is the vibe and this is the feel and this is what I want to see and really customize it along with I would say I'm a kind of details oriented person. So it was the shading of the spots and the arrows and stuff like this. I wanted it to be easy to navigate and intuitive to use as
Mhm.
well.
That's important, especially when you're not doing any kind of like moderated times. You're leaving people to kind of be in that space. You want to make sure that you have those wayfinding elements so that they can use it. Otherwise, they just were like, I don't know why I should be here or why would I come back. So when you make that
Yeah.
familiar and easy and accessible, you are going to see them come back. So
Mhm.
what's next? Are you building something? Do you have an idea of something else you want to build in GoBrunch or what you want to use GoBrunch for?
Well, it's funny because I actually reached out recently and was like, what are some things that I think I've missed? Because there was a conversation in my membership where a member was saying, I need an alternative to Zoom. And I've been looking at Go Brunch and I want to use it in these different ways. And it was such a great thread because I was like, I can do that.
Yeah.
So I don't have any hit list spaces I want to create, except potentially some of those smaller rooms
Yeah.
to take the pressure off people who don't have Zoom. Like, because there's often like, "Oh, we'll just jump on a Zoom together." I would love Go Brunch to be the confident copywriting space to be where people go, "Let's go and grab a room." Like you do, I don't know, well, in a library, I go, "Let's go and grab a meeting room and we'll go and have a chat in there." So I do wanna create some of those. I would also love to have a think about how I can use it as a presentation space as well. And so I wanna go and have a little nosy around some of the features because I know I can record things and I can do chats like this. So I just wanna have a look around because I would love to use it more than I do
Mhm.
right.
Yeah. I'm gonna be doing a feature, like, on office spaces too, just so people can see, like, a one-to-one office, like, what that looks like, and then maybe I'll do some features on, like, workshop spaces or presentation spaces. We have a art gallery that we sell art through, and I think there's a few more of GoBrunchers out there that are doing things like bookstores and stuff like that. So, there's lots of capacity, lots of interesting ways. Somebody one of the people that we've interviewed, they did a movie theater, and so you can go watch indie movies. There's lots of cool things. It's really exciting actually. So it'll be interesting to see. I'll interview you 6 months from now and we'll see where you're at.
I'm just like, I'm sort of thinking to myself, what do I use Zoom for? How can I do that in GoBrunch? Because it could be more visual and more interactive and more engaging. And so I'm just trying to think outside of the one
Mhm.
trick pony because I know
Yeah.
there's a lot of great stuff in here.
So what's your favorite part about GoBrunch so far?
I love the customizations.
Yep.
I'm the kind of person who goes through every menu and clicks everything to figure out what I can do. And I loved being able to really create spaces intentionally, and the level of customization was really helpful. But more than that, if I got to mention another one, I just love coming into a room and going, "Oh, I'm the last one here apparently. Okay, cool. Sure. Fine, have a party without me." No, but I love seeing members use it, and at certain times of the day, we're getting, like, little gangs together where we're like, "Woohoo, we're all here," and that's
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, I would have to say that's really exciting to me. Like I said, I love, like, going in on a room when I don't have any moderated co-working, and then it's like, "Oh, I see you guys all come in on my day off. I see how it works. Alright, it's fine. I don't have to be here. No one had to tell me that everybody was here." And, it's just, like, so fun to see people and also, like, it's fun to see for me, I pull up the old rooms, and it's great to see the people in the different rooms using it, whether they're meeting 2 by 2 or 3 by 3. And I'm always like, "Oh, I wonder what the projects are working on." Like, I hope they're having a good chat.
Yeah.
It's just fun to kinda see how people use the space, so
'Cause it's community building, and one of
yeah.
my jobs as a creator of a community space is to keep getting people to connect with each other outside of a Zoom room and without me being there.
Yeah, I love that. That's gonna be a juicy little clip I'll clip out afterwards. That's great.
You're welcome.
Anything else you'd like us to know about you or what you do before we sign off today?
Not well, I would say that things 2025 is starting already. Like, it's already a year, and
Yeah,
2024 was a bit of a year for a lot of people as well, and I
yeah.
just think anything we can do to talk to people and connect with people and really create nicer touch points, that's what we need to be leaning into, because the
Mm.
connection with other people helps us feel safer and more grounded.
I'll say that the more connections we can make around the world too in spaces like this give us a grounding for things that are happening in the world.
Yes.
Know that we can connect. Like you said, you have members in Australia and the UK and the US. I mean, knowing that there's this nice, international connection and you all share that copywriting connection, but then see that, there's other people out in the world there doing what we're doing and we get to come into the space and be in community with each other is really powerful. It's a good testament, good, like I said, grounding for everything else that's happening in the world.
Yes, 100%. So, well, lean in, everyone. Just lean in.
Lean in, find the communities that you love, build communities that you love, and be supported.
100%.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Belinda. I'm so excited to see where you take GoBrunch as you build out other things and as you get inspired by other people doing cool things as well. Congratulations on putting your 2 products in there. I am excited to see where you go with it and see how you grow. And I hope that your members continue to love GoBrunch. Thank you for being a GoBruncher.
Thank you for having me. I hope if anyone gets just one little idea from all these chats, it would be amazing. I know
Yeah.
they'll get more.
They're so inspiring. I love it. Well, thank you everybody for watching this. Wherever you're watching, we are going to put Belinda's information down, of course, in the comments, wherever you're watching this. And stay tuned. We have so many more exciting GoBrunchers to be interviewed coming up. Do follow GoBrunch on YouTube and, of course, any of your favorite social media channels. We are bringing you more stories, more inspiration, and more community as we go. Thank you, everyone, for being here.
Bye.